Hi guys, getting directly to the point.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes out. Eagle is free. We're on our way.
Okay, Houston. We're configured for egress.
Cut! That shot's okay?
Wait, I know your mind is messed up after seeing this, but listen. In year 1969, after the mission Apollo 11 went successful, there was a rumor spreading up among the people in the media that Apollo 11 was fake. No one went to moon and returned to the Earth. Yes, I'm not lying. Few believed it was real, and few believed it was fake. But actually, what was the reason behind acknowledging this mission, and who were the crew? What really happened? To know these answers, let's start the video. So, sit back, relax and watch the mystery of Apollo 11 mission. So, let's go a little back in time to know where it all has started. The actual reason for planning Apollo 11 mission was a Cold War between America and Soviet Union. At that time, there was a kind of space race between these two countries, and in 1957, Soviet Union was the first country to launch its first artificial satellite, Sputnik. Later in year 1961, Soviet Union sent a man, Yuri Gagarin, to the space, and he was the first person to go to the space. Now, America has fallen bid back in the space race to come up. Few days later, America's President John F. Kennedy writes a letter on the 20th of April 1961, asking that how could they beat the Soviet Union.
We cannot let them pull ahead. Not in space, not in science, not anywhere.
This letter is written to America's Vice President, Lyndon Johnson. After a few days, America decides to launch program of sending a man on the moon. Finally, the announcement day arrived. On the 25th of May 1961, President John F. Kennedy promises to send a man on moon and return him safely to the Earth.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
Now, imagine year 1961, when there was no proper technology, but still promising to send humans to the moon. For this purpose, $7 to $10 billion was given as additional funding to work faster and better, so the entire space agency was working on fulfilling this mission. After a few months, the testing starts, opening with testing the rockets that'll be used to leave the Earth, launching tests. Second, the heat shields of the command modules, to know how much it can protect or resist from the heat. Third, testing the propulsion system of the service modules. And the time between year 1961 to 62 was utilized in making these tests, and from year 1963 to 67, they start with unmanned real-time testings. After these unmanned missions were a bit successful, in February 1967, a test was planned in which the astronauts will go up to the space in the rockets, named as Mission Apollo 1. But, during a testing on the 27th of January 1967, the cabin caught on fire, and the 3 astros died in the fire.
Hey, we're gonna fire in the cockpit.
Hey, we got a bad fire!
But missions Apollo 2 and 3 were never launched. Why? Cause the tests to be held in these 2 missions was covered by AS-201 and AS-202 unmanned flight tests. Later, even the Apollo 4, 5, 6 were unmanned missions, but on October 1968, Apollo 7 mission was launched, where scientists sent 3 men to space and was successful. In the same way, Apollo 8, 9, 10 missions, being successful manned tests. Now, as all the tests were successful, on the 16th of July 1969, the Apollo 11 mission was launched.
All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Crew was Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins and Edwin Buzz Aldrin. The mission was to detach the lunar module and have it land on the moon, and to return, the lunar module would have to be relaunched and attached to it. Later, the spacecraft reached the Earth's orbit in 10 minutes, and made 1.5 revolution around the Earth, and moved towards the moon's orbit. After many days, traveling for 400,000 kilometers, spacecraft reached the orbit of the moon, and everything went successful, and on the 19th of July 1969, around 8 p.m., the lunar module lands on the moon. But just a minute before the landing, Buzz Aldrin informs that the fuel remained was 5%.
Half down, 9 forward. 5%. How many bites?
Later, Neil Armstrong sends a message to Earth that the Eagle, which means the service module, landed successfully.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility.
And Neil Armstrong made his first step on the moon.
Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. One small step for man. One giant leap for mankind.
Once they landed, for 2.5 hours, they collected the moon's dust and rock samples, and took photos, and set up several scientific instruments.
Houston, this is a seismic package is now deployed and secured. I'm initiating the deployment connection to solar arrays. All systems nominal, over.
Sample collection. Soil collected, tube sealed. Proceeding to next task.
The flag. This is for humanity. Saluting now. Moving on to the next site.
And they left the American flag.
I'm saluting the flag here on the moon. This is history. God bless America.
And a cup that was written, "Here, men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon." And, finally, after all of this, lunar module packed up and attached with service module. But wait, when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin got in the lunar module, they found that the switch was broken, with which they had to start the engine. But Buzz Aldrin made an epic smart move by using a ballpoint pen to connect the switch to the circuit and reignite the engine.
Houston, Eagle, we've got the AGS back online.
And when they were attached, they turned the spacecraft towards the Earth, and did make a successful landing with the parachutes in the ocean. Case closed, mission successful, celebration started.
In 1969, the public had little reason to question mankind's historic first step on the moon. After all, the achievement was a celebration of technological supremacy. America had finally won the space race.
But haters be ready for everything. Even here, Apollo 11 mission was fake, said by the haters. Now, a lot of questions were raised on Apollo 11 mission. Other
Houston,
than
we have a
questions,
boogie. Roger
everything
that.
else was
Low
nonsense.
gravity groove
Well,
confirmed.
let's know what are the 3 questions that made some sense. Question 1. Why was the flag waving? Moon don't have air and gravity. Well, the answer is, the flag was unlike the normal flags. It had 2 rods, one vertical and other horizontal rod, that made us feel that it was waving. Next question, why aren't the stars were visible in the background? Well, the moon landing happened when it was a day, when sunlight was hitting the moon, and even the spacesuits they wore were reflecting the cameras, so stars weren't visible in the background. in the smartphones we use also have the same issue. Try taking a pic at night with flashlight, the star won't be captured. And one last question was, when Neil Armstrong took the photo of Buzz Aldrin, the reflection wasn't showing that Neil Armstrong was catching a camera. What is it? Well, the camera was mounted on the suit, so he don't need to catch and take pics wherever he goes. So, this was the video on Apollo 11 mission. Before winding up, I want to say, I didn't use my voice in this video. I tuned my voice to one of the person who was included in this video. If you want to guess, here we go with the options. Well, option A, Neil Armstrong, option B, Buzz Aldrin, option C, Michael Collins, option D, John F. Kennedy, option E, Lyndon B. Johnson. If you guess the correct one, I'll tune my voice to whomever you say in my next video. Okay, so that's it for now, guys. Thanks for having me. Love you guys, and remember that so on the science
journey continues.